Hi, how are you? And it's nice to be with you. So let's get started and start looking at what we've got coming up on the 5th of July, which is the last full moon lunar eclipse. When I say last, it's the last full moon lunar eclipse for a while, and it's the last eclipse on the Cancer Capricorn line. We've had 3 eclipses in this time. We've had 2, we've had a new moon, we've had a full moon, and we've had a solar. So we've had a lot that's being activated, and this is going to continue that framework. So before I get into that, I just want to talk to you a little bit about releasing. One of the things about releasing, if you want it to be a lot easier, and sometimes there can be a great deal of turbulence around it, is to just welcome it in, because releasing is quite freeing. It's actually designed to take things off us, weights off us, to make us lighter, to open up our perspective, to give us a different view of the world, and for us to break free of things that have been holding us back. And that's what it's been about. Now, of course, sometimes letting go of things is really difficult and they hurt. So if you find yourself hurting from something, start thanking it. Say, look, thank you very much. I'm really feeling great pain about what would it be, say for me, the loss of my business, the massive evacuation that had to happen quite quickly for me, and the circumstances surrounding that. But I'm very grateful to be where I am. I'm very grateful to have had that time allow, and I accept that this is where I'm going now. And it just helps you move through that a little bit easier. So for those of us who are feeling like, a bit shattered and a bit tossed around, when you're feeling this aspect that needs to be released, just go into it a little bit, thank it, and you'll find it that little bit easier to move through. Why am I saying all of this? Because there's a little bit more to come on the 5th. So there's been a lot of churn and there's been a lot of energy movement, and we've all been a little bit tired for this. I have so enjoyed Mars moving into Aries and being able to get really not just started on things, but actually feeling like I know what I'm doing and I know the direction I need to be taking, and it starts to be making a lot more sense. So if you've come to this via Facebook, you will see that I've actually transitioned Emerald Blue Phoenix, which actually stands for Heart, Truth and Transformation, into Astro Tarot Mystic, because I think it's a little bit more upfront and direct about what I do, and that was probably well needed, and that was a lot of feedback from people. So thank you for your honesty, and that's the movement. And I will start to change the YouTube station as well to the channel will become Astro Tarot Mystic. It will be basically the same content, but a little bit more upfront about what I'm doing. I've had to completely change direction, so I'm seeing it as an evolution. When I say change completely, I haven't changed completely, but there's definitely been an evolution in where I'm going. So there's been a lot of work done in thinking about what I've been doing, and in particular what I've been offering you, and really I haven't been offering you that much. So I've gone in and I've put a whole lot of different offers on, because I got the time and I can commit the time. So if you're needing that little bit more from me, whether that be monthly or weekly, then it's able to do that. And I'm going to run that all on subscription, but the information will be below. And you'll see that I have a new email, which is also astrotarotmystic.live or .live, depending on your perspective of LIVE, and I'll put that down there also underneath. So that's pretty exciting, but I think there's more to come. So I can't wait, because I think it's so wonderful to be able to get rid of some things that have been troubling me, that have been hanging on to me, and I'm just feeling cleaner, lighter and fresher, and That's been really good, but it hasn't been without effort. So got lots of notes. So Sun's going to be in Cancer in opposition to the Moon in Capricorn. Now the Moon in Capricorn is going to join Saturn, also retrograde in Capricorn, and Saturn rules Capricorn, so it's quite comfortable there in the retrograde, and this is going to have a lot of impact on this particular full moon and also on the eclipse, and we'll get into a lot of that. This is the last one of a series of 3. It's on the Cancer-Capricorn axis. The Cancer-Capricorn axis is all about us having a look at our sense of security. And it's on the dependence-independence axis. So Cancer is all about family and being with people you love, and not just being with them physically, but being connected to them emotionally and psychologically, and really being engulfed with them, loving them, being part of them, being on the same mindset, really going forward in terms of togetherness. It's a group. Capricorn is not that way inclined. Capricorn is more independent, and it's a little bit more about our routines and how we come across to the outside world. So Cancer is about our close-knit family and friends, whether that's the family that you're born into or the family that you've created, be that tribe or close friendships. And Capricorn is all about our, if you like, our persona, and sometimes our multiple personas outside into the business world, and how we go about creating and living in that persona. So it's got to do with routines and work and habits and public displays of those routines and habits and structures and how that's coming across. So both of them, though, are about security. So what we're looking at here, because it is the eclipse, is we're having a good look of how secure are we feeling with our identities in terms of our dependency within the family, within the tribe, and our independency in terms of the work. And have we kept that in balance, or are we a little bit out of whack? Are we too independent either at work or at home, or we're not independent enough? Are we too dependent? So it starts raising those questions about the balance of that. Because there's moments within all of us when we should be dependent, and there's moments within all of us when we should be independent. But these should be balanced out, and it should be that over the period of time, and it's not, when I say balanced out, it doesn't mean that at any one given moment we are equally dependent and independent. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about that where we are dependent, we are balanced and aware that we are in a dependency, a codependency, and we understand what that's about. And when we are independent, we understand that we are acting independently, but we also understand that acting independently, we still have to be aware of what's going on around us, and we are in fact dependent on other people around us. And this is the balancing act. It's that we understand where we are and how we are reacting and how we are perceived and how we are engaging. And that's what it's about. And it's, look at it as a health check. That's all you've got to do. How healthy are my relationships, and how healthy am I in terms of how I'm interacting with people? And that's a nice way to look at it, both within the family and out in the workplace or in any public persona. So we're going to be having a good look at our perspective of home and our personal relationships and our perspective of work and our work relationships, and again seeing if that's a dichotomy or seeing if that's actually truly in balance. And this is what it's all about. So don't forget, it is an eclipse. It is a full moon. It's going to be not just illuminating what we are going to be looking at, but it's certainly going to be showing it in such a way that if you are ready to release it or it is time for it to be released, it's going to go. And that leaves space for us to embrace something new, for us to develop something, for us to evolve. And that's what it's about. It's not about leaving you feeling bereft or leaving us feeling like, oh, what the hell's going on? It's actually about creating space for us. And if it goes, it's because you have either consciously or subconsciously agreed or identified that it's time for it to go. Now, sometimes that doesn't necessarily mean, like there's a difference between knowing something and really understanding something. So we might know that it's time for this particular thing to be addressed or be redefined or reframed. That doesn't necessarily mean that we understand the repercussions of it being reframed or addressed or completely removed, right? So there's knowing and there's understanding, and they are not the same thing. They are absolutely not the same thing. So we're going to see our lifestyle, both and our life, our home lives. We're going to see how that is, how well that's working for us. Health check. Just put in your head, health check. Okay. Now, what's interesting about this is that it's going to be having a look at our sense of responsibility and our goals, and also our need for emotional engagement and other people's needs. So it's definitely going to be looking at us and going, so what is the driver for me having that as my goal? Is that because that's my goal and I really want to do that? Or am I doing that knowing that I'm doing it for the family or for someone else? And how valid is my intent behind that? So that's the other thing about this full moon and the eclipse that we're having a look at. If you've been aspirational for goals or achievements or situations that are not integral to who you are, then you're going to become uncomfortable with those. They're not going to sit well. You're going to have to think about what you're doing and how you're doing and what is the intent behind that. And that's going to be another aspect of doing a health check about, are you being authentic to yourself, or are you doing this to please someone else? Now, we often do things to please someone else, and that's great, and that's the way it should be. It shouldn't all be about me, 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 me. But it is the nature of what you're doing and the extent of what you're doing and the mechanics, the how you're doing it. And the question is, are you doing it with full intention and full authentic self? So that's another aspect of this full moon eclipse that we're going to be looking at. Now, the lunation, which means the illumination, the full illumination of the full moon, is going to be done and it's going to occur when we have Jupiter and Pluto, who are also in retrograde, in conjunction with each other. So remember, Jupiter makes things bigger, and Pluto is the great revealer. So we can expect, but they're in conjunction, so this is harmonious, right? It's harmonious. So we can expect something really good to be coming out of this full moon solar eclipse. We can expect us to, and this could be something else that I've just got a good feeling about and just came into my, I was going to have a part one, but my download, that we are going to be given something, and in the giving of something or the opportunity that we're going to see, that is going to give us the clarity about what it is that we need to change. So it's not that it's going to go away and there's going to be this empty space, void. In fact, it's going to be quite the opposite. Something is going to come in and we're going to need to make space or allowances for it. So the question becomes, oh, if I want this and I need to create and allow it to come in. What does that mean in terms of something else that I thought that I was interested in and wanted? What does that mean for that? And I think that's going to be really fascinating. So just be aware that that's what's coming in. And then there's a little third. You can see how we're doubling up, can't you? We've got full moon and eclipse. That's one double. Then we've got the full, at the moment of the full moon, we're in conjunction with Jupiter and Pluto, who are in conjunction with each other. So that's another doubling up. And then at that same time, we are going to be in conjunction with Uranus. And Uranus is also known for surprises and for giving us things and showing us, oh, yeah, I actually really wanted that. So it's the change master. Uranus is all about bringing in and heralding in change, but not change for the sake of it. Uranus is quite karmic, so it's about bringing in change that actually will work for us. So that's, you can see that we're not just doubling down once, we're doubling down twice, we're doubling down 3 times. So this is really moving us in a lovely way, but each one of those are positive. So that's good. Saturn's comfortable in Capricorn, and Jupiter and Pluto are in retrograde, but they're conjunct, so they're working together. So that means harmony, and they're in conjunct with Uranus, which is also harmony. So that's going to be quite interesting to see how all of that comes. If you want to know more about the impact, have a look to see where Saturn is in your chart, Pluto and Jupiter. They're the 3 planets you need to see that are in your chart, because that's the ones that are going to be highlighted. So go and look your natal chart up. There's lots of freebies online. Just go free natal chart, put in your date of birth, and wham, there it is. And you can see which house Jupiter, Pluto and Saturn in. And just remember, these are the big planets. These are the big heavy hitters in the astrology. That's going to be really fascinating. So there we are. So July the 5th. It's going to be interesting. And for most of us, we might have already done most of the work, so there won't be much surprises, but I'll be very surprised if there's no surprise. Okay, so that's the astrology. So let's see what else we've got. And I've got some, got some tarot cards here. I'm going to get in and do some tarot card readings. And we've got Dreams of Gaia, because we are talking full moon and we are talking eclipse. So let's see what we're going to do about that. And for anybody who wants a tarot reading, we can do one online together. Just get in contact with me. Alright, so let's see what we've got for full moon. And yes, I'm really rugged up. Melbourne winter. Seven of air. Messages from the gods. And notice the eclipse behind. Can you see behind his head? Okay. The child. Now, one of the nice things about children is children, for the most part, fall over, hurt themselves, have a cry, get distracted a little bit, you give them some love, and then they're ready to go again. You're the child. You might fall over, you might need a a little bit of love to get back up and go again. Be kind to yourself and have a child's innocence, because it's a very innocent looking image. Have the innocence of the child. Okay. In the Buddhist term, it's called the beginner's mind, because it's about staying curious. And curiosity overcomes fear every time. So stay curious. And it's a 1. So it's a new beginning. The King of Air. Look at that. So we could very well have a new beginning in how we are thinking about ourselves. I'm just trying to get away from the window. Really strong card. It's all about how we're thinking and our connection. But can you see the crown connection? Really unbelievable. And it's a symbol of the eagle. And the eagle is a powerful, powerful symbol in a lot of cultures. And it's powerful because it heralds in something big. Okay, just one more. Yep, taking a while. The cards are really stiff. Just, I think that's too many. I'm getting huge. I just need simpler messages, please. The 9 of Air. Surrender. Surrender because you've been heard and you're about to be given something. And the environment is, the 5 of Air. Now have a look at that card. Blindfolded, and the mask is off. So remember at the very beginning I talked about Cancer, Capricorn, and we talked about balance, and are you being true in your intent? Are you being honest about who you are and what you do? And this is Air, so it's how we think, and it's definitely looking at and asking us to take off the mask, take off the blindfold, and to be really honest with who we are and how we feel about things. Okay. Okay. Just going to do a couple of yep. These are the light oracle cards of light, or the light worker. Karmic clearing, we had that before, we're having it again. We had that for the new moon, and now we're having it for the full moon. So there we are, we're still in the karmic clearing phase. Okay. So this is all about air. So the cards are telling us it's all about how we think and process the world around us. It's time for a change. It's time for a shift. Time for a deep cleanse. Oh, there we go. Ooh. Divine grace. And this is the law of efficiency. Okay, so this is what will be, will be. So this is saying, if it's time, then it has to happen. And it'll be done in the most efficient way possible. But just remember, you've asked for it. Embrace it like a child. See the lightness of that? Number one, it's a new beginning. So it's the opportunity to really start anew. There we are, the King. We can do this. We can manage the impact of this. So definitely we're going to get lots of messages. We've asked for it, so now it's the time to receive it. How beautiful is that? See the woman in the light? Beautiful. And here we are. It's time to be honest. It's absolutely time to be honest. Okay? That's the messages. I'm kind of looking forward to it. Because I'm ready, and I think you're ready too. Okay, embrace the change, because in actual fact, we've been asking for it. It's time, and we've earned it. See you soon. Take care. Bye.